Greetings, fellow Gorehounds, and welcome back to a Blood Splattered vlog. I'm the Horror Guru.
I think I'm Count Jackula, but I'm not sure.
And he thinks he's Count Jackula because we are both confused, perplexed, and our mind is fried because we are going to talk about a movie called Sator, which is a horror movie that we watched on Shudder, but I don't think is a Shudder exclusive. I think it's available on other platforms.
Sator.
Sator. And it's a movie ostensibly about a family that is being stalked by this demon satyr that is trying to possess or kill them. But it's really art housey and confusing. And we love art house films. And we also love dissecting art house films, but there's aspects of this movie that left us stumped.
Yeah. Okay, so you hear us talk about Sator. Now, if you're Jewish, you're probably like, wait, they're being stalked by a family dinner? But might as well be for all that would make sense.
Yeah. I think the thing I can talk about in the non-spoiler section is some of my research I did after watching this movie, because I definitely did have to do one of those, like, okay, I need to find someone talking about this movie to figure out what the fuck's going on.
I mean, I don't even know if you could spoil this movie, because at the end of the day, it's sort of like, what happened?
Oh, yeah.
What actually happened?
So, Sator was made by a first-time filmmaker. I'll put their name right here. And it was filmed over the course of 7 years. Basically by a crew of them and the actors that are in the movie. Like, there's not much of a crew. And the reason why it's filmed over a course of 7 years is because when you are a first-time filmmaker with zero budget, you run out of money and or time. And so you need to, pick it up when you can. And also, over the course of those 7 years, it took on various different incarnations as they would rewrite it because something would happen and they'd get an idea and they do this. Which partially leads to why the movie has such a weird, non-linear, confusing narrative structure to it.
Yeah. First of all, it's not told in order.
Yes.
It's
non-linear.
Yeah, it's a non-linear story. Okay, but also on top of that, you're left to wonder what is really happening.
Yeah.
Because you can tell that there's an aspect of dementia or some sort of mental illness also being here.
And it doesn't feel like a movie that really lets you in.
No!
There's a lot of intrigue at the very beginning where, it has a lot of weird stuff happening. And a lot of movies do this, where you have weird stuff, you don't really explain it because you want people to be wondering what the fuck that weird stuff is.
Yeah, but then they eventually fill you in.
Yeah, and this movie never really feels like it properly fills you in on what's going on. You reach a point in the third act where you're or at least what I think it was the third act, where you're like, this movie's still operating like I already understand what's going on, and I don't.
Yeah. Now, another big thing that you have to understand about this movie is that this movie is...
Oh, yeah. It's very slow. I do not recommend watching it if you're tired, because there were points... No,
you will pass out.
There were points where I was, on the verge of passing out because I was just getting tired, and I was just like, okay, movie, you better explain something soon because I am getting tired.
Yeah, there were definitely moments when, I would all of a sudden notice something that was happening on screen, and I was like...
Did I zone out?
Fucking pass out or something?
Yeah.
Did I miss anything?
I never full on passed out, but there are moments where I was zoning, and I had to snap myself out of it to keep paying attention. And the other thing about the movie that I found in my research, which explains some of the weird plot elements and stuff like that, but doesn't really let you know what happened in the movie, but explains a little bit more of the intentions with the movie. The filmmaker who made this movie, they put their grandma in the movie. And their grandma has dementia. And apparently in the past, years ago, their grandma did a Ouija session, actually used a Ouija, and supposedly contacted some spirit named Sator, and talked with his spirit for 3 months before they ended up in a psychiatric ward. And so randomly, while they were filming a scene, from what I gather, she started talking about this while they were filming the original incarnation of this movie.
Yeah.
And when she started talking about that and he found out about it, it kind of gave him an idea of the direction to take the rest of the movie. And so Sator was kind of like injected into the story as a result of that. And it wasn't initially there.
Yeah.
I don't know what the story was originally. So Sator is not like a mythological reference or a reference to anything from like the Bible or like anything like that. It is literally a reference to his own grandma's schizophrenia, I'm guessing.
Yeah, her own like, schizophrenia, dementia.
I know she had dementia.
Friends.
I know she had dementia in later than life. I don't know what she was diagnosed with when she went to the psychiatric hospital.
Yeah. And it turns out that this woman also was like one of those automatic spiritualist writers.
Oh yeah, and so she would write all these things. And over the course of the 7 years of making the movie, he actually ended up uncovering those writings. And so they ended up making it into the movie. Which explains a little bit of like the creative process of the movie, and that was really intriguing and kind of cool to learn about. But it didn't actually help me decipher what happened in the movie.
Yeah. That was the only problem I had, which is like, oh man, that's really cool, but then tell me dick more about your fucking movie.
Yeah. And so in the movie, there's actually like shots of the grandma talking to either actors in the movie or just talking to the camera, and the reason why those scenes almost feel like scenes from a found footage movie is because they actually are just filming the grandma talking.
Yeah.
And maybe the actors had like a prompt to like ask the grandma this, because she had dementia. She wasn't always quite there, but if they might say something, she might just start going off on something and they could put it into the movie.
Right.
You know? And so that's also why the movie kind of has this weird kind of like disconnected thing. It's almost like peeking into the mind of dementia. I think that's what the movie's trying to do.
Yeah, it's weird. Like the thing is I found myself kind of going like, I feel like this would have been better as a documentary about the grandma.
That would have been cool.
Because like that was, how to put it, that shit was spooky. Mm-hmm. You're like, what's going on?
Yep.
Like, what is she talking about? Like, what do the spirits say to her?
Yeah.
You know, you very, very, that's
because
very
every
intriguing.
time the grandma's on screen, it's the most compelling the movie is.
Yeah.
That and some of the weird, like, spooky Sator sequences. Those are.
Oh yeah. Those are also really good when you actually see the spirit. You know, but for the most part, there's a lot of.
Yeah.
There's a lot of what the fuck. One of the things that made me go like, I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah.
Which is, you're watching the grandma knowing that she actually does have dementia, but you're depicting her dementia around her while she's in the scene.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, there's some... I don't
know how I feel about that.
I will admit, reading about the dementia part with the grandma and the fact that she was actually in the movie and they were kind of using prompts to talk to her to get things out of the movie, I did start having some ethical questions in my head about that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how I feel about that, but I do know that it feels weird.
Yeah, well, like, it's also why, like, I probably would have felt a little bit better if it had just been a documentary about her.
Yeah. Because
then it's like, oh, okay, well, that we're getting her to talk about this stuff purposefully.
You know? So, like, if it hasn't been clear so far in this non-spoiler section, I didn't really like the movie. I was fascinated by the movie.
Yeah.
I was more fascinated by the production of the movie than the actual movie.
Yeah, because the actual movie, gotta be honest, is kind of confusing and really boring.
Yeah.
You know?
I do think the movie does a good job of creating, like, a very unsettling atmosphere. I just burped. Sorry.
Yeah.
A very unsettling atmosphere. I do think that with an idea that's more concrete when they start work, like an idea that had, with a script that was completed and actually planned to shoot, as opposed to an idea that evolved while they were filmmaking, this filmmaker could probably make something really interesting.
Yeah. Like the actual, I'd hope so.
Yeah.
You know?
Because there's some really like cool and creepy sequences. I had no idea what the fuck was happening.
Yeah.
But they were kind of cool to watch, right?
Yeah. There were a lot of good looking sequences, but like I couldn't figure out what the fuck was supposed to be happening.
The movie also does this thing where...
I know the guy's walking into a cave, but it's like...
Yeah.
Why?
Also, finding out about the seven, filmed over the course of 7 years, kind of explains some of the weird, like, things that happen in the movie, because occasionally the movie would start switching over to, like, Super 8 footage. And while watching the movie, I was trying to figure out if the Super 8 footage was supposed to indicate that it was in flashback or not. And sometimes it felt like it was a flashback.
Yeah.
But then other times it didn't. And so it was a little confusing, and I wasn't quite sure. And then, like, finding out that it was filmed over 7 years, I'm like, oh, okay, so the Super 8 footage, which definitely everyone looked younger in that, was probably some of the earlier footage that was recorded.
Yeah.
And the very pristine, crisp footage that we see normally with all the colors
was
stuff,
the most recent
the most recent footage. But, like, I was always confused as to when it was supposed to be flashback and when it wasn't supposed to be, because the movie would have people in the flashback scene say something that I'm like, oh, okay, well that was something that was happening in the present, so like, what's... And I would just get really confused. There's also a character who I went back and is in the movie earlier on in the movie, but isn't as much of a presence earlier on in the movie, so I didn't register as... I thought she was... There was 2 women in this movie, and I thought they were one woman.
Yeah.
At one point while I was watching the movie.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't register them as 2 different women until the end of the movie, when one of the women starts to become a more prominent character at the end, and I was just sitting there the whole time going, who's she?
Yeah. Yeah, and you're like, wait, isn't she the same woman? Oh, no, she's not. She's not the one that did... Okay. Well, there was this other thing where, the movie does not let you in.
Yeah, that's the big problem.
It does not let you in, because there was a point where I was like, wait, is one of these guys an alternate personality of the other? What's going on? Are they brothers, or is one of them not real? Is one of them already a spirit? What's going on? I need to know what's happening here.
And there's a constant references to events from the past that you never see. But you're seeing them referenced at different time periods, so you're kind of confused on when those events were supposed to have happened. It's really weird.
Yeah, well, we shouldn't have left her up at the house alone. Okay, so you assume that that's going to be something that comes up again, right? Well, I mean, it does, but in the timeline, in the best I can put the timeline together, unless we're having a flash sideways in the climax, that doesn't work because the sequence of events is completely different.
You know what's really funny? We recently did the Green Knight. We went on our rants about how much we love A24 and like are annoyed by people that don't like A24 films. I feel like this is the movie people... This is what people have in mind when they bitch about A24 I feel like this is the movie that everyone else is seeing when they see A24 films and they don't like it. I feel like this is that movie. This is basically what they're describing. And we actually finally had that experience with this movie where we're just like, oh god, it's really slow. Okay, things are happening, but what the fuck is even happening? Okay, all right, maybe it's going to explain itself. Oh, it never really does. I mean, there were some cool images and some cool, like, freaky moments, and I kind of like some of the ideas that were present, but I don't think I liked it.
Yeah.
Because I was too confused.
Yeah, well, because, like, as far as we can tell, okay, guy goes off, or does he?
Okay, I think we should move on to the spoiler section, and we'll try to dissect what we think happened in this movie.
Yeah.
All right, so we watched it on Shudder. It's probably available on other platforms. Look up the Just Watch for Sator, Sator, and pick your poison and enjoy or not. Your choice. And let us move on to the spoilers.
I'm going to be totally honest. This is... I'm on the edge, man. I'm on the edge. Like, there's a part of me that is very angry about this movie, simply because, for the love of fuck, just tell me what is supposed to be going on.
Mm.
You know, like, if you're like, hey, maybe they'll talk about it, we'll be able to look. We got no guarantees about we're going to be able to figure out what even happens in this movie.
Yeah.
You know, like, the main thing that I can guess that the movie is about is about a spirit that also represents dementia overtaking an entire family, I think.
Yeah.
I think. You know, but that's a lot hard. It was way too... It shouldn't be that hard to break off that map. You know, like... Because you do have a lot of questions, you get really stuck on what is literally happening.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you're like, there's a point at which two characters come back in, they're like, we shouldn't have left Jim in the woods. And you're like, you did? Well, I thought you just wandered off. Like,
yeah.
What?
Okay.
Huh?
All right, so I guess we're in the spoiler section now.
Yeah, sorry. Much like the movie, it all is all kind of blending together. Sorry about that, folks.
All right, so here's our little pause for the spoilers. All right, now we're in the spoilers. All right, so here's what I think happened in this movie. Now, I'm going to present it in a linear order in my brain.
Right.
And if you're in the comment section and you watch this movie, you can let me know if this tracks with your own interpretation of the movie or not. From what I gather from this movie is that you have this family. Grandma, at some point, summoned this demon satyr on a fucking Ouija board, because all that stuff is in the movie. They actually have her saying that.
Yeah.
This demon satyr has been haunting their family ever since. At some point in the past, the mom was taken by Sator and killed. We see that like in this weird, trippy sequence in the very opening of the movie where we watch some woman get taken or whatever. At least...
Oh, that's what that was.
I think that's what that is.
Okay, all right.
I'm not entirely sure. But we're cutting between that and the present. In the present, the brother, or the three siblings, which I guess is the sister Deborah and the two brothers. One of the brothers has been secluded in a cabin because the other two siblings realized they were showing signs of the same dementia the grandma and I guess the mom had. So they left him in a cabin, I guess.
Yeah.
To be there all alone so he's not a danger to people. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I think was happening.
Hey, our brother has dementia. Let's just leave him in this cabin here. Why?
But while he's in the cabin, he starts getting he starts essentially being haunted by Sator, who starts like tempting him and haunting him in the woods and takes his dog.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh God, I forgot all about that part.
Yeah, takes his dog. And then we're getting these weird flashbacks to them talking to the grandma and shit. And I don't know what's going on with those flashbacks. I was confused because at some point he goes with his brother to the main house, and then it cuts to Super 8 footage of them sitting down and talking with their grandma, and I wasn't sure if that was supposed to be flashback or if that's just supposed to be when they're not in the woods, they're in black and white. Yeah. I wasn't sure what it was supposed to indicate, but then later as the movie goes on, I'm like, okay, some of the black and white footage seems like they're flashbacks.
Yeah, it wasn't clear why we were switching.
But at some point, while they're there, main character brother dude, the guy who was secluded in the woods, ends up talking to this one woman who I don't know who she was supposed to be, but he talks to her, and for the longest time I thought she was the sister. Yeah, they reference the sister and all that stuff.
Yeah. So you're like, oh, they're talking about a sister. Okay, this is probably her.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, we are supposed to be being led to believe that it is.
Yeah.
You know?
But like at some point, I don't know what the fuck happens. There's some sort of accident, but I wasn't sure if that was in the past or in the present. And
we're in the present.
And I guess this leads to like the other brother ending up either in a hospital or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because you don't actually see that happen. They just tell you about it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm so glad we got you back from the hospital. He went?
Main character brother guy gets seduced by Sator, taken out into the woods, meets Sator in a cave. And that one girl that I thought was the sister, but isn't the sister, apparently works for Sator. We find out. I
guess.
I don't know.
You know, I was trying to figure out whether she was was she I don't know, like a forest nymph or or somebody that the guy had kidnapped while Sator possessed him.
Oh God, I was so fucking lost with that character. I don't know, because sometimes they talked about her And I didn't realize they were talking about her because I wasn't sure, like, she's like some sort of weird spiritualist, but I have no fucking clue. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it reminds, God, you know, this level of confusion reminds me a lot of Yellow Brick Road.
Yeah, oh yeah. I feel like we had the same kind of problems with Yellow Brick Road, where we're just like, let us in, movie. Holy fucking shit.
Yeah,
and I also did not like that movie.
No, yeah, well, like that was the thing about it. It's like, movie, I don't need you to have a deep point, but I do need you to let your point be known.
Yeah. And so at some point I
was good enough with alien possesses a dude and then goes on a drug bender.
Yeah.
Very simple.
So at some point the other brother ends up getting out of either the hospital or prison. I'm not entirely sure which, because I was confused at what they meant by getting out.
Getting out, like, I assumed it was like a psychiatric
I guess maybe
situation.
He was getting out because after he got in an accident. I don't know, like maybe. So he comes back, and then he and the sister have like an argument over the other brother. So he goes and checks on the other brother, where he gets killed by the other brother and the girl that I thought was the sister but isn't the sister.
Yeah.
And he is taken by Sator then too.
And then someone floats in the air.
There's a lot of images.
There's a lot of images of people floating in the air in this. Yeah.
And then they all show up at the main house at the end, kill the final sister, and at that point they all go into the living room and sit together, one happy Sator family, because they've all been possessed by Sator.
Yeah.
And that's as much of the movie as I think I understood.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure.
It's like you're sitting here going like, wait, are we... It would have been nice if there had been something that could indicate whether or not even these characters were even still alive.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
They're just in those white outfits, and I guess you're supposed to assume that means they've been taken by Sator.
I guess, but like, it wasn't very clear. It's like, are these people alive now, or are they ghosts? Are there ghosts in this? There's spirits, but I mean, what?
I don't disagree. I was fucking confused.
Yeah, it's so fucking needlessly confusing, because it's one of those, I can't tell whether or not it's good, because like, it pissed me off.
Well, yeah. Well, that's kind of why I was like, I don't know what to say about whether I liked or disliked the movie, because I know I didn't have a good time with the movie, but I also understand that
here's the thing. It's like an 80-minute movie, but it feels like 3.5 hours.
Yeah. But part of the reason why I didn't have a good time was because I was so lost, I stopped caring.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like I can sit through a long movie if like I'm given something, but they just... I mean, there's like I can't be 20 minutes because the timing doesn't work, but there was like this whole sequence where the guy's just walking through the woods that just feels like it's just fucking taken forever.
Yeah.
Like you could have fucking, like I feel like I could have watched Stalker in that period of time, come back and still be the same goddamn scene.
Needless to say, if you out there have seen Sator, feel free to comment below with what you think happened in this movie, or your interpretation of the series of events in this movie, because I want to know what happened really badly.
Yeah. And don't call me a pussy. I love fucking Solaris. The OG Solaris, which is like the definition of a slow flick.
I mean, we've reviewed a lot of art house films.
Oh yeah.
Love. So this has nothing to do with whether you like or dislike atmospheric art house films.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I just think that for whatever reason, whatever information he was trying to get across with this movie, we did not understand it.
Yeah, I felt like the entire movie was telling me to go away. You know, and I don't like it when a movie does that. You know, because I'm like, well, then why am I fucking watching this on screen? You know, maybe if you could answer that question, it'd be like, okay, you know, like, but it just smacks. My gut feeling is that there is something going on here, but it's not communicated well at all.
I honestly think that's the real issue, because like the more I look into like how the movie was made and all that stuff, it's very obvious that it was an idea that kept morphing and morphing and morphing and morphing, but I don't think it ever actually like flattened out into a coherent idea.
Yeah, because like there are, like I said, we think the story is about a spirit that possesses an entire family. We think.
Yeah, it's the thing I'm most sure about, but I'm not sure about a lot of things with this movie.
Yeah, for instance, even the names of some of the characters.
Yeah.
That gets confusing at one point.
The sister Deborah confused the shit out of me because, like I said, I thought it was the other character for the longest time, and I was just like,
yeah, because you're like, oh, okay, there's her sister Deborah. Oh, her name's Evie? Oh, I guess I misheard it the first time. Okay, all right. Oh, wait, no, there is a Deborah. Wait, what's going on? What does anyone want? What does anyone want?
That's another big problem. I don't know what any of the characters want in any given scene, which is really bad for drama.
Yeah.
In order for drama to work, the basis of it is you have characters in a scene, and every character in the scene either wants something or is striving, or I guess that means you want something, is striving for something, and the other character is either their obstacle or is going to help them get it.
Yeah.
But, what makes it compelling is watching that play out. So, Tony Soprano, right?
Right.
He wants this guy to stop selling drugs or whatever.
Right.
So you get the exchange where they face off with one another and they're talking back and forth and they're presenting their arguments, and then eventually Tony Soprano just snaps and fucking punches him in the face, right?
Right, yeah,
that's
something like that.
The basis of compelling drama.
Yeah.
But if you don't know what Tony Soprano's after, or what the other guy is doing.
Yeah, it's a pointless argument where he punches a dude.
You're just watching people argue and leading to a punch, but you don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of that. I don't even know if they want it. There's a part of me that goes I don't even know if anyone cares about the grandmother. Is anyone upset that the grandmother's crazy?
I was confused at whether the grandmother was alive most of the time.
Yeah, me too.
I was like, is she already a ghost? Because at the very end, she's in white like everyone else, but I don't remember seeing her die.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
If it's that whole, were you ghosts the whole time? You gotta tell me.
I will say this, all the footage of the grandmother just talking about Sator was the creepiest parts of the movie.
Yeah, no, those... Dude...
That shit was fucking chilling.
Great, you sitting there and listening to a person talk about the spirit they once encountered, and the fact that it's it's really a story from the person who's being filmed.
Yeah,
just makes it really fucking creepy, because it's one of those she's clearly got dementia.
Yeah.
Because she would just start laughing at odd moments, or pause and then look at you. But you don't know what she's looking at. She's looking in your direction, and you're like, what is she seeing right now? I have no... Now, that was okay.
Yeah.
Because, grandmother, clearly a little bit less of a character, a little bit more of a plot device. Mm-hmm. Grandmother is crazy, and talked to a spirit before. Plot device.
Yeah.
No problem. But, I couldn't even tell whether any of the other characters cared.
Yeah.
It was does this bother them? Do they...
It also it has the weird low budget syndrome where most of the acting isn't that great.
Yeah.
In particular, the brother and sister weren't that good.
Oh no.
The main character was a little better in his performance. Most of it was a silent performance, kind of in the woods performing against himself, but you could buy him. But the brother and sister always felt like they were just reading off lines.
Yeah.
And it's a very stark contrast when you see the brother or the sister talking to the grandma, and the grandma feels natural as hell, and it turns out she feels natural as hell because grandma has dementia, and they're just using prompts to try to get her to start talking about her experiences.
Right.
But the brother and sister feel stiff and they're performing.
Yeah.
And so it creates this weird. At first I thought that was intentionally, it was a Lynchian effect.
That was working with what you got. Yeah, I know, me too. But then it just got in the way.
Yeah.
I feel this feels okay. How 2/3 of the way through a David Lynch movie, you're either I think I see where you're going, or Dave, you lost me.
Yeah.
You lost me. I'm sure you know where you're going, but I have no fucking clue.
The thing I'll give David Lynch, above all else, is that even if I don't know what's going on most of the time, I still enjoy the journey.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Mulholland Drive is a good example, because that one's really weird.
Oh, yeah.
That one's really weird. I mean, that Inland Empire, you're just sort of like, what the fuck just happened? But, like, it's clear what everyone in the scene wants.
Yeah.
You know, like, that goes a long fucking way.
Yep.
And this one, I didn't know what anybody fucking wanted.
Yep. I have no idea what the guy in the woods wants.
No.
I have no idea what his siblings want.
Yeah, it's like, do we want a normal life? Do we want to... Do we just want to make sure... Do they even care if Grandma's okay?
It was also,
I have no idea.
It was also a movie where I got really tired of people talking in vague, cryptic language.
Yeah. Yeah, and there are a lot of the dialogue scenes, which is, oh boy, like, okay, so there is a type of scene that the writer of, I think was it Empire? It was a writer on one of the, like, really highly rated shows, I believe it was Empire.
Okay. Right.
Who said, when two characters are talking about a third character that's not in the scene sucks. And there is like, there aren't a lot of dialogue scenes in this, but most of the dialogue scenes are that.
And what makes those scenes really confusing is if you don't know who the third character they're talking about is.
Yeah, so you're just like,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's another character? There's someone else? Okay.
Yeah, who are they referring to? Who are they talking about?
Yeah, and in the beginning of the movie, that's fine, but, like, you're like, dude, we're 45 minutes in.
Yeah, at this point...
45 minutes in, who are you talking about?
At this point, you should be peeling off the layers so that either I understand, or ramping up the weird in a very entertaining way.
Yeah.
And it does ramp up the weird, but it's still so slow, like, it doesn't make up for it.
No. I hate talking this way about a movie. I really hate talking this way about a movie, but I gotta be honest, I have no fucking idea what's going on.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
You know, like, that's what makes me so angry, you know?
So, I don't recommend Sator,
no.
But if you want to go watch Sator for yourself, just to see if you understand it any better than I do, feel free.
Oh, yeah. Hey, not gonna stop you.
Feel
not
free.
Gonna stop you.
It was an art house film that beat both Jack and I. Like,
yeah. This one defeated. I didn't feel defeated by Black Moon. This one.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I don't even know what's happening.
There are some movies where you take joy in not understanding it, and then there are movies where you really want to understand it, and it's just annoying that you don't.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. Yeah. At least it didn't have an insultingly bad ending like fucking Yellow Brick Road did.
No.
Like, that one was like, wow, I didn't understand it, and the ending was insulting. Like, that fucking, fuck you. Like, yeah, don't like that movie.
Yeah. Where can they find you, Count Jackula?
You could find me in the third pit of hell, having been beaten to death by this movie. Okay, so wait, where am I? All right, I'm reviewing Sator in a vlog. You can find me at Counting Jackula on Twitter, or you can watch me on Twitch twice a week, every Thursday and Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at twitch.tv/count_Jackula, or you can follow me on Instagram at Satanic Jackula. And do they know you? Do people know you?
Yeah, they all know me. I'm the Horror Guru. You can find me at Twitch, on Instagram and Facebook. Just look up the Horror Guru or Blood Splattered Cinema, and I'll be there. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring my notification bell so that you notify that. Oh, this movie fried my brain.
It does that.
So you're notified of my videos immediately upon their upload. And if you'd like to help out either of us more directly, be sure to check out our Patreon pages so that you are... Be sure to check out our Patreon pages if you'd like to help us out directly so that... No, not so that. And remember, if you decide to go the Patreon route, even $1 a month goes a long way. And if you happen to make it this far into the vlog, then I want you to comment below, #WTF is happening. Comment below with #WTF is happening so that I know you made it all the way through this vlog. And with that said, my fellow Gorehounds, we're going to try to watch some straightforward movies that make more sense so that we can recalibrate our brains. And peace out.
I'm pretty sure we have Videodrome now.
Yeah, I think we were Videodromed.
Yeah, I think we were completely Videodrome.
All hail the new flesh!
I could have used Debbie Harry's lips in my face right now.
It's true.
That would have been okay.
No.
Yeah. You know? Or maybe, like that fucking in a car crash scene in Crash.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I noticed that, like, David Cronenberg, for some reason, there was a period of time when he really liked two people fucking sideways, but not actually looking at each other.
It's true.
Like that was a position he liked to put people in. And
it's true.
Yeah, I mean, I always found that very interesting because it felt very, you know, it was like, it's the most impersonal, intimate thing you could do.
Yeah.
You know, like that's what I felt.
And Cronenberg will always find a way to make it impersonal.
Yeah. Find a way to do this fucked up. I don't know what happened in this movie.
There, man. There, man.